So last week, we talked about divine revelation, how God has revealed himself to us. This week, we're covering paragraphs 142 to 231 of the Catechism, which talks about how man responds to God's divine revelation through faith, and how that faith is summarized in the Creed. So what is faith? Faith is a complete submission of the intellect and the will to God. It's not just here in the head, but it's here in the heart. It's a true belief, a true trust in God. The letter of Hebrews puts it as, faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. Faith is exemplified by Abraham, who just left it all behind to follow God, to go off into a foreign land because God asked him to. It's perfected by Mary, who's that perfect model of faith, who, even though she couldn't possibly understand what the angel Gabriel was asking her in the Annunciation, she just said yes. And throughout her life, she had that full trust in what God had planned for her. Faith is a grace. We can only have faith from God. That faith works with our human intellect, with our reasoning. It's that faith and reasoning that go together to reveal the divine truths to us. Faith is a journey requiring a continual growth, a continual trying to understand the mysteries, using our reason to understand those mysteries, but ultimately relying on God's grace to give us that faith. Faith is a personal act, but not an isolated act. Faith is done in communion. It's done together in the church. No one can believe alone, just as no one can live alone. The believer has faith from others and should hand that faith on to others. Every week at Mass, we profess the Nicene Creed, which is a summary of our whole Christian faith. It was formulated by the early ecumenical councils, the Church, and it articulates the fundamental beliefs of Christianity, affirming the Trinity, the Incarnation, and the Church role in the life of believers. Each article of the Creed invites us into a deeper reflection upon that mystery, what that mystery is telling us, and how we should live our life as we profess our faith in that mystery. Reciting the Creed together at Mass reminds us that faith is not solely an individual endeavor, but a shared commitment among all members of the Church. The Creed begins with our affirmation that indeed we believe in one God. The Creed then goes on to tell us about that one God, the three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In the coming weeks, we'll look at the Catechism, break open the rest of the Creed.